Okay, I want to welcome everybody tonight for a series of meetings, and right now at this time I'm going to call community development, and we have two items on the agenda for community development. First item is the approval of the community development meeting minutes from May 8th, 2023. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Mitchell and seconded by Mr. Schneider.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next item is the matter of a request to enter into a contract for professional services with Resource Consultants to complete the HUD 5-year consolidated plan. Community Development Director Scott.
Thank you, and through you. So we are requesting permission to enter into a contract with Resource Consultants. This is for professional services to complete the HUD-required 5-year consolidated plan, our 2024 annual action plan for CDBG, our analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, and our slum and blight recertification for the downtown area. So the 5-year consolidated plan, the fair housing plan, those are good for 5 years. That one is set to expire in early 2024. The contract amount would not exceed $62,500. Funds have been appropriated for this, and we are requesting for this to be passed as an emergency.
Okay. Seeing no questions, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of an agreement with Resource Consultants for professional services to complete a 5-year consolidated plan, 1-year action plan analysis and dependence of fair housing choices and blight recreation. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a said agreement with Resources Consultant. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald, seconded by Mr. Schneider.
Call for the question.
Question on the motion. And does the motion concur this will be an emergency?
Yes. The second concurs.
And the second does concur. Okay, thank you. And there's question on the motion. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
That's where I was confused because I got them at the same time.
Okay, at this time, I'd ask Mr. Stewart to please call finance.
I'll call finance order.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. 7 items on the agenda. First item is the approval of the joint meeting minutes from April 24th, 2023. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schneider, seconded by Mr. Sarah.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item 2 is the matter of a second and final public hearing for the 2023 Community Housing Impact Preservation CHIP Fund. Notice is hereby given. A second public hearing will be held on Monday, May 22nd, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the Elyria City Council Chambers of City Hall, Elyria, Ohio, 131 Court Street. To give citizens the opportunity to review and comment on the city's proposed projects before the city submits its application to the Ohio Department of Development by June 21st, 2023. Do I have any proponents?
Yes, through you. This is the second of 2 public hearings. The first was held on Monday, March 27th. All applicants are required to conduct a comprehensive housing and community services assessment in order to apply for this grant. The research and assessment empower the applicant with knowledge of services available along with gaps in community services in order to complete the required documents. And in order to gather this information, questionnaires were sent out to various community organizations. Also, the consolidated plan was reviewed and other data and research was submitted by community organizations, and staff reviewed that as well. And after completing that assessment, it was found that the biggest need identified by the consolidated plan and the community organizations was housing affordability, because residents are spending disproportionate amounts on their rent or mortgage payments. They have less funds to make needed repairs to their homes, and they also have less funds for bills, essential bills such as water, electricity, gas, and food. And many that are looking to buy do not have the down payments required by the banks. With that in mind and the eligible CHIP activities that the city can apply for, staff recommends applying for the owner rehabilitation. We are eligible to apply for up to $250,000 typically. So that would be $225,000 for the owner rehabilitation program, and administration is capped at 10%. So that would be 25% on administration. This is a 2-year program. The application is due June 21st, 2023, and the award is anticipated to be announced in December of 2023.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none. Are there any more proponents? Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? I declare this public hearing has been held. I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a 2023 Community Housing Impact Preservation, this would be the CHIP application, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to submit the said application to the state of Ohio and accept the said funds if awards are up to $250,000. This would be an emergency clause, is requested due to the deadline. Can I get a motion from Community Development?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Mitchell and seconded by Mr. Oswald.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Can I get a motion from Finance?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sarah.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sarah. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the matter of extending the Skill City Promise Program agreement with Lorain County Community College. Community Development Director Scott.
Through you. So the Skill City Promise Program with Lorain County Community College was authorized in December of 2020. This was originally a 1-year pilot program. The program was extended last year as a result of COVID. There were unprecedented funding streams. This is a last dollar grant award that is provided. So in conversation with the college, they do have a small amount of funds remaining to expend. However, the program is set to expire at the end of June. Therefore, an extension is being requested at this time until December 31st of 2023. I do have Cindy Kushner here tonight with the college to give you a brief update as to the program and its success.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for having me back and to have this opportunity to share an update. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ashley, Ms. Scott, for the introduction. So, as stated, it was authorized in December. We kind of, we were able to sort of kick it off in mid-March, and the semester was underway, so it really got started in summer. So I'll share that summer 2021. As you recall, we focused in on those high demand areas, the short term, but it was flexible enough to incorporate those who might be on a degree path that are in a high demand area as well. And here's just some of those programs. I mentioned we started a little slow. We had ARPA funds ourselves at the college, so this is a gap funding situation, so we were filling in with other funds, and then those funds went away abruptly, as you could see in the fall. We were able to serve about 45 students that fall 21, and then upticked a little more in spring. And then the following fall, we had other funding sources come in to help with that. We actually landed a couple federal grants, and they were able to backfill, so we didn't need as much Elyria funds, but you can see the spending that we have there. And we have about 37,000 left at the end of spring 2023. So you see that there. We've served about 154 students. You can see the breakdown by background there. About 34.4% are underrepresented minorities, as you can see on your handout. About a little more than half are female. This upticked a little bit. It was a little more 50-50 last time, but as we've progressed, median age is around 27, and you can see at the very bottom how that breaks down on the bottom right of your slide, with about 30% that 18 to 21-year-old, 11.7, 22, 24, and you can see how that breaks out. So again, I mentioned 154 students served. They've taken 417 different classes, they were in 417 courses. 193 of them are different. So they've been taking a variety of things, earning about 993 credits, on average per student 6.4 credits. Again, under the funding of these Elyria Skill City dollars. We have about a 71% success rate by course, 63 earning a 3.0, and you can see the 4.0s at 44 students. We've had some withdrawals. We have a few grades we're waiting to get in from May. We just graduated last week, or not last weekend, but the weekend before, so sometimes they have a little flexibility in turning some things in late if there were situations.
Can you just, one moment, Mr.
Oh,
Tolet?
so sorry, Mr.
Through you,
Don't be sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Tolet.
through you, Chair. Quick question, what's the difference between enrolled students and enrollments?
Yes, I had to ask our IR department that too. So the enrollments is referring to each course. So each course that those 154 students were in, that's what, it was 417 courses. And then 193 of them were different, so we had several who were in accounting 151.
Thank you.
So, got
Okay.
it. Yes.
Okay, go right ahead. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Lupien. Go ahead, Mr. Lupien.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Cindy, I also had a question. It says 63 students had a 30-plus cumulative GPA, and then 44 students had a 4.0. Is that 44 students out of the pie of those that had 3.0 plus?
They're included within, yes, the
Okay.
63.
That's what I thought. Okay. So it's 63 students, 44 of which had a 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Exactly right. Another question?
Oh, another question. I'm sorry, Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm going to bring this up again. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but construction trades programs, I feel
Right.
there's a big, huge necessity for them. I don't see anybody taking the bull by the horns of JVS, but when or are they never going to do anything at the college?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yes, we do have a construction program, and we also have masonry technology. So we have a relationship with the bricklayers out on Amherst there. So their apprentices are our apprentices, and they actually earn a one-year certificate from us and also earn half their associate degree as part of their apprenticeship. So some are going on to get that associate degree. So we have That one. We also have a relationship with the Boilermakers around our welding program. So we have a awesome welding program, and it's very popular actually with even the new grads. We had to double our class last fall and spring because of the interest, in particular with the Elyria students that we've been working with through our Success Corps program. So we have the welding program and the relationship with Boilermakers. We have the bricklayers and masonry, and we have construction management, which is out at Lorraine County JVS, but it's delivered by us. So those are some. I agree we need more, in my opinion.
Okay. Mrs. Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, what percentage, if you know, of your graduating students come out and go directly to a job? I may be jumping before the handout, but.
So I don't have that figure with me right off the top of my head. I know that 90% stay and work in this area, so they're not going off to California or wherever. What I couldn't tell you is how quickly that time frame is. We work really hard to make sure that they're actually employed in the field before they leave. We've placed a high focus on our earn and learn programs, apprenticeships, work-based learning, integrating it into every program. We're not there yet, but we're trying to get it into everyone. And of course, programs like our healthcare, those clinicals are built right in, and by and large, they're employed as they're graduating. We're not there in every program. That's what I can tell you right now.
Okay, continue.
Okay, sorry, where was I?
Don't be sorry.
This is the final slide, but this just shows you that we do have 62 graduates, 66 credentials awarded so far in the fields that they're awarded in. These are where those Elyria Skill City dollars have helped fill in. Even some associate degrees, as you can see, in nursing. Medical coding has been very popular, and I think that's a supplement to for many people who are already in the field, or who are trying to break into it, like in a doctor's office or a hospital or something like that. Real estate, accounting, the electronic program, electronics fabrication, some of that's related to MEMS and semiconductors, which you've been hearing about. I expect those to go up because there's a ton of interest right now as people are learning more and more about it. So I guess I would end with one, we are so grateful for the support to the Elyria students, but also in your help in pushing it out there with us, allowing us to come to, the third Thursdays and the festivals and the markets. That's really our front door anymore. It used to be people would meander over to the college, but I think there's a lot of doors now, and sometimes they don't know what door to go in. So we're finding that we really need to be out there, so we're appreciative of the support of the city and council in getting the word out and helping us connect to individuals in the community so that we can share about these opportunities and hopefully get them on a career path if they're not already on one, or if they're ready to make a change. We're here to help support, again, with your support. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, so what is the amount that's being asked? Is it the same $200,000, or what is being asked?
Through you, there are no additional funds being requested at this time. The intent was just to extend the program out until the end of December of this year.
Okay. Thank you for clarification.
That said, we're likely, again, this summer, I'm sure we're fine. We'll probably get through maybe a portion of fall, but I don't know that it'll last through fall. If we do want to continue it, I just want to mention that.
Okay, very good. I did have one other question in regards to, if it's a couple slides back, Ms. Kirshner, in regards to the, next, go back the other way. Course withdrawals, so 66 course withdrawals. So is that obviously going into I mean, I don't know, how do you differentiate it from in a different program within the Skill City, or is it just they went to the program and they just backed out and they didn't obviously like what they were getting into, or a change of life events happened and they had to come out? Can you explain about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's all of those things. So they can change courses before the course starts, and then within like the first couple days, there's limited penalty. But once they get down that road, if they need to drop a class, maybe they're really struggling, or like you said, life situations, they're, by catalog, allowed to do that up until a certain point in the program. So sometimes, again, it's a variety of reasons.
Sure.
I don't know that was very helpful. Sorry.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, I'd just like to make a brief comment. It has been a successful program, and we certainly thank you for your efforts and your partnership with the city of Elyria. So at this time, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the Skill City Program Agreement Extension. This is an ordinance authorizing the extension of said program between Elyria and Lorain County Community College, and authorize under ordinance 2020-168, the program funds will run through December 31st, 2023. Could I get a motion from Community Development?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald and seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Can I get a motion from Finance?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Schneider, second by Mr. Sears. Any further discussion? Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, next item is the matter of entering into an agreement to lease city property located at 799 North Abbey Road, the Finwood Apartment. Parks Director Reardon.
Thank you, through you. So this is just, the lease is going to be up at the end of June for the Finwood apartment, so we would like to extend another lease to the current leasee, Inez James. Went through Park Board on May 11th, and they approved, amount would stay the same, and she's been a great person to have there. So we would like to do it for another year. I would ask, I apologize, I didn't put it, but if it could be in as an emergency.
We'll do that. Are there any questions? Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So has it always been month to month, or are we changing it from a 6 month to a year to month to month?
It's not month to month right now, it's a year. After that year's up, it does state in there that it would go month to month, whether if we don't get it done in time, but it's been a year.
Okay, thank you.
Law Director Deary.
Yes, thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. No, yes, just to clarify, it is, once the one-year lease is up, it is scheduled, then it will go month to month until a new lease is executed.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, does the rate stay the same from the lease to the month to month?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a renewal of the lease agreement for the Finwood Park apartment. This is an ordinance authorizing the said lease agreement with Inez James at the Finwood apartment located at 799 Abbey Road, and to begin on July 1st, 2023. This would be passed as an emergency. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lippian, seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Can I get a motion from Finance?
So
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Sears. Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, the next item is the matter of the consideration of donation of property located at Shear Street to be donated to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. Assistant Safety Director Calvert.
Thank you, through you. We are requesting this property that is currently owned by the City of Elyria to be donated to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. The CIC has been in discussions for opportunity to potentially put this property back into productive use, and that would require the transfer of that property from the city to the CIC.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of donating parcel of property located at Shear Street to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. Parcel number 06-240-8510-4018. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to donate the said property to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. Can I get a motion for community development?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lippian and seconded by Mr. Oswald.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mr. Chair, point of order. Number 5, agenda item number 5 has been removed from the agenda.
Yes, I apologize. I thought everybody knew that, but that item 5 was removed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell.
Can I get a motion from finance?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sarah, second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 7. It's the matter of a consideration of donation of property located at North Street to be donated to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. Director Calvert.
Thank you. Once again, same situation, different property. So looking at this parcel to, again, be donated, it's currently owned by the City of Elyria to be donated to the CIC for exploration of putting it back into good use.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We considered the matter of donating a parcel of property located on North Street to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. Parcel number 062607100010. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to donate the said property to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald and seconded by Mr. Lippian.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Can I get a motion from finance?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sarah, second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, one more item for the joint meeting here, and it's the matter of a creation of a revolving loan fund in partnership with the Economic and Community Development Institute. Assistant Safety Service Director Calvert.
Thank you, through you. As we took a look through our current city-wide economic development programs, we realized that we have a gap in the type of programming that we offer based on what the community need is. So most of our existing development programs, grant programs, financing programs are really geared towards real estate improvements, and the majority of those are focused strictly on downtown, which is critically important. They've been very successful, and we want to continue that, but we acknowledge that there's a need for programs that address
access to capital, particularly for historically underserved backgrounds and communities. So those, a lot of people who are underbanked, not eligible based on a variety of criteria to access lending through the big banks or even credit unions, and your more common lenders. So we know that given the current economic climate, banks are tightening their lending requirements, and this is a problem we expect to see grow worse actually in the short term, particularly for small businesses. So to help address that need, we would like to partner with ECDI, the Economic and Community Development Institute, to create a revolving loan fund. So that would be a grant to ECDI in the amount of $250,000. $170,000 of that would go directly into seeding the RLF. So RLF is Revolving Loan Fund. There would be $30,000 for loan loss reserves and another $50,000 for administrative fees. That includes things like underwriting and actually small business technical assistance. So the coaching that can help create a pipeline of entrepreneurship and small business success in the city, even if they're not able to be bankable immediately, even through something like, an organization like ECDI, we would begin this pipeline of small businesses and entrepreneurship in the city, which is very critical to the success of the community, not only from an economic standpoint, but also from a community development standpoint. So making sure that people within the city can get the goods and services from small businesses that they're looking for. So with that, I have invited Fonda Williams and Jasmine Dixon from ECDI to be here tonight and tell you a little bit more about ECDI as well as how this program would work, and I'd be happy to answer any questions after that.
Before the individuals come up to speak, I did speak with Ms. Calvert in regards to that we would have, discussion on this with possible action if we chose to move forward, if we're going to inquire about more information based on their presentation, because I think, this is something in a direction that maybe we're considering and that we want to make sure we have enough information. So I wanted to make the individuals know who's going to come up here next speaking, that we may just kind of gather the information tonight and then maybe have another follow-up meeting based on reviewing the information that's been presented. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Director Calvert.
Yes, sorry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, and Ms. Calvert, this may be premature, but based on the discussion tonight, but have there been discussions as far as the funding source for this money, or has money been appropriated?
Yes, thank you. Money has been appropriated. It would be through Issue 6 Economic Development funds. I had a meeting with the Finance Department earlier today who confirmed that there is funding available for this at this point in time.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, please just come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Fonda Williams. I reside at 212 33rd Street, Canton, Ohio. Good evening. By way of background, again, my name is Fonda Williams. I'm the Senior Vice President of Government Relations for ECDI. I've been with ECDI just over a year. Prior to joining the ECDI family, I served as Deputy Mayor for the City of Canton, Ohio, for the last 8.5 years. During that tenure with the City of Canton, I engaged services with ECDI with 3 different contracts. They do a wonderful job when it comes to helping small businesses with technical assistance, training, and acceleration services. They've been around since 2004. In 2021 and 2022, they were recognized as the #1 SBA microlender in the country. That speaks volumes to the state of Ohio. And they were recognized because of the work they do with technical assistance, training, and acceleration services for small businesses. Assistant Director Calvert mentioned access to capital is extremely important for small businesses, and that's why we're committed to do the work that we do. We are a community development finance institution. We're very similar to a bank, except for we don't take deposits, and very rarely do we say no to a small business. We may say not now because that business needs additional technical assistance and training, and we do that. One of the means in which we do that, we have 4 SBA-funded women business centers throughout the state of Ohio. Those women business centers have been recognized for providing superb technical assistance and training to small businesses. There are 146 women business centers across the country. So Ohio is very fortunate to have 4, and ECDI is very fortunate to have 4. As I mentioned, I reside in Canton, Ohio, but I cover the entire state of Ohio. We cover 88 counties throughout the state. My colleague who's here with me this evening, Jasmine Dixon, is the Vice President of Development for Northern Ohio. She covers the entire Northeast Ohio, if you will. And together, we are a dynamic duo, helps small businesses to scale, in my opinion only. Thank you for having us this evening. Certainly prepared to answer any questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Are there any questions? Mr. Tolet.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. As I understand it, what we're discussing is 250,000, and then only 170 though is available for loaning, which means that in excess of 30% of the total funding that we would provide would be used up in administrative fees.
Mr. Chairman, yes, that is correct. But in our proposal, we also will match the 170,000 with 170,000 from various sources, like SBA funds we already have, U.S. Treasury dollars, foundation dollars, bank dollars, et cetera. One of the value-added propositions for partnering with ECDI is that we bring leverage funds to your community.
Okay, are there?
A question over here. So in regards to the $170,000 match, is that strictly then back for the loans, or does that go help out for the administrative costs? I mean, is that, do you understand, I guess?
Yeah, the 170 match would be for loan capital. So we have a total of $340,000 to, for lack of a better term, put on the street to assist small businesses having access to capital.
Okay. And then will you have a presence here, an office here, is it that you'll be working through?
Our plan is to have an office here, hopefully in partnership with your CIC. Yes, that's our intent.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Lippian.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. How do you advertise to the businesses, or have you in the community advertise to the businesses existence of these sorts of loans? And what are some success stories that you've experienced from it? You know, the ratio of investment to success for the businesses that you're supporting, and also what does the disbursement of the funds look like in the application process?
Good evening, my name is Jasmine Dixon. Do you guys need my address as well?
Please.
3286 Warren in Cleveland, Ohio. And as my colleague Fonda mentioned, I am the Vice President for ECDI's Northern Ohio market. I've been with ECDI for about 6 years. And as it relates to us, you know, sharing and promoting our services to businesses, we do a lot of outreach, and it can look very different. It could be in collaboration with other business development organizations. So, for instance, the SBDC that is held at the Lorraine Community College. It could be us working alongside, which is really our intent, the Community Development the Community Development Center, the CDC that you guys are developing here. And then also we do general advertising, whether it's through social media. We also do various classes. So a lot of people will just get one of what we do through our workshops. We do a lot of virtual workshops. We also do a lot of in-person workshops. We are big on collaboration. So typically when we go into a market, we want to look at the whole landscape, figure out what the need is. And we've done our research to determine that there is a need here for a CDFI like ours. And our intent is to work very closely with the existing partners. We don't believe in doing anything in silos. So we're going to do everything we can to get the word out. But we also are the type that we will go door to door. We'll go door to door and tell a business that we have something for them to take advantage of and something they can, use to excel in their business.
Thank you. Mr. Lippian.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. That was a compound question, so I just appreciate that you answered it, but there's a couple other facets that I still was looking for answers to. Talk to me a little bit about the application of funds and the disbursement, and also if you could maybe identify, one or two key success stories from the work you've done, elsewhere about the state that we can kind of latch onto to understand what it looks like soup to nuts.
So from an application perspective, we have a general application where we're going to list, documentation that the client is going to need. We have a relationship manager who will work with that client hand in hand to help them get those documents together. So we're never in a situation where we're telling the client, here's what you need, we'll see you later. We have technical assistance providers. A part of that technical assistance is the loan packaging process. So we have someone who's walking them through to get the documentation that they need. Then once everything is collected, they go to a loan processor. The loan processor is going to complete compliance to make sure that all the required documentation has been accepted. From there, they'll go to an underwriter. The underwriter is going to look to make sure that the business is, in fact, in a position to be able to actually repay these funds. We never want to put a client into a position where they're starting this business, but it's going to put them in a hole in quite some time. So a lot of times people will come to us and say, hey, I need $200,000, where our goal is to sit there with you and figure out how can we scale this back to make sure it's affordable and then put you in a position to scale and come back and grow. And then from there, as long as everything is approved, the funds are dispersed right into their account. We continue to do post-technical assistance. So that's a big key to what we do. And it's a funny way to say it, but I always say we want to get our money back, right? So the only way to do that is to continue to make sure that these businesses have the resources that they need to continue to grow their businesses. So that's one part, hopefully, to answer your question from the application perspective. The other part is, what was your second question? Success. So we actually have a client, and we just went to an event in Cleveland. So I'm located in Cleveland. There's a new building that's being built through the Cleveland Foundation, and we will be a tenant in that space. And two of our clients are actually in that space. One of them started out in Toledo. It's called Black Frog Brewery, owned by a Black man. He started off with just, kind of a home brewery and then grew, and now he has his own tap room. Now he's expanding into that Cleveland location. That location is going to be a huge opportunity for him because the amount of businesses and corporations and organizations that are going to be in that building on top of all of the surrounding residents is going to increase his revenue significantly. So that's one example. He got funds from us. He continued to get technical assistance. Now he's in a position to grow into another market. Another client who's also going into that same space, and I'm telling you, we haven't gone to them and say, hey, you should choose these people. These are people who applied to be in the space, and after interviewing them, they determined that these were two really good people to go in. It just so happens these were two clients that we helped come along. Another one is called Pearl's Kitchen. Pearl's Kitchen is actually the first Black female-owned business that is in a Rocket Mortgage stadium. They're not going to be operating in that space as well, and they also have another space within a college between Case Western Reserve. So when we work with our clients, we start from the beginning and we stay with them as they continue to grow. And a big part of that is because we work with both startup and existing businesses. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Tollett.
Two more questions, and I'll quit bugging you. Through you, Mr. Chair.
No, bug away.
Do you loan to both for-profit and nonprofit, or for-profit only is question number one?
Excellent question. So for years, we were focused on for-profit. We now are actually lending money to nonprofit because, as we know, nonprofits also have the ability to generate revenue. So if they can show that they have an arm within their business that allows them to repay funds, and we ourselves are a nonprofit, right? And we borrow money as well. So we've realized that this is a need and a focus that we need to have. So yes.
Question number two. Thank you. Question number two. When we put up 250, 170 that gets matched to 340 goes out in lending.
Correct.
It's at a 7% interest rate roughly. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So our rates are what you call blended rates. So it's, part of it is the funds that we would get from Elyria. Part of it comes from some of our other funders, the funds that we leverage, so SBA, banks, and so we average that out, and that's how we come up with the rate. And right now, that's what we're looking at, about 7%.
So that 170, that the Elyria portion, would the city get that back then with the compounding of 7%
It's a
interest?
revolving loan fund, yes. So we would just keep going over and over and over again. As people pay, the money goes back into that fund.
So this is a perpetual, the city would never, it would keep loaning, but it would never, and this sounds terrible, it's not what I mean. We would never get our money back, but the loan fund would.
The goal, yep.
Would be perpetual. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mrs. Davis.
Through you, Chair. With this geographical area, Elyria, do you have a set amount that one business can apply for? So I see $750. You can't do nothing with $750. You can't even get the paper ink wet. But so do you have you looked to see what is like a general startup for these businesses or to get them off the ground?
So our average loan size is about $28,000. And so we anticipate that we'll be able to do at least 12 loans from this fund. And the reason why, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the reason why we have that actually is because we originally worked with a lot of newcomers to America, right? And you have to start developing credit. There's things you need to do. So we might start you off getting you a small dollar amount, allowing you to kind of get your feet wet, build up a credit profile, and then just keeps kind of going from there. So that's more like a credit readiness type of loan. But you'd be surprised, some people need $750.
Okay. Any other, okay, Mrs. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Ms. Dixon and Mr. Williams, thank you both for your time this evening. When I heard that you work with people who were unbankable, I kind of got nervous because this is the taxpayers' money. But in listening to you both, it sounds like an excellent opportunity for Elyria to help entrepreneurs and people interested in getting into a small business. So thank you for your presentation. I think it sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. We're really excited to come into Elyria. We've been looking at this for quite some time, and actually I noticed the need back during COVID when we were getting a lot of inquiries. And I said, well, we have to build a better presence in Elyria. This is an issue. So I thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell. Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So is this something that if we said, okay, we give you this money, are we going to get some updates periodically so we know what's going on?
Absolutely.
We'd like to see that.
Absolutely. We have a very robust, what would you call it? It's a CRM system. We use Salesforce. So Salesforce allows us to keep up with every client that we engage with, every session, every technical assistance session, every training, every interaction, every note. Data is a big thing for us. So yeah, you'll have data coming out of your ears. I promise.
We'll be waiting for it.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, there's no restrictions on like the location of the business within the city? Like we don't have to follow any sort of census tract or anything like that? It can be anywhere within the city limits?
Yes, I would think so, yeah. So based on the proposal that we submitted, there was no, from our conversation with the mayor and Don, there was no particular limitations put on within the city. But I mean, obviously our focus is underserved businesses, but we really do serve all entrepreneurs who are not able to obtain funding. And that can look different for everyone. It could be that you're not necessarily LMI and you're a majority, but you have a business that is just getting started. And so it's hard to obtain funds for that. But we do have, our centralized focus is, underserved, low to moderate income individuals, but no physical limitations, geography-wise.
Thank you.
Mr. Sarah.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So that was one of my questions. The other one would be on clarification on the administrative end of it. That covers the coaching and guidance portion?
Yes, so we would need to have, we need staff. Right. We need people who can work with entrepreneurs to help them get through the process and to give them the additional technical assistance that they need to learn how to, grow and manage their business. So yes, that would be a part of it. There's also costs associated with our loan processing. There's, we have to do underwriting, we have systems we have to utilize. So there's all these other internal costs that helps us to produce dispersed funds.
Thank you. Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Mr. Chair. My other question is, so if this is approved, how long is it going to take to get up and running?
If you're ready to go, I can get this going tomorrow. No, I'm just playing. It's once we have the funds, we just start talking internally and start mapping it out. I think it would be fairly easy to. We're honestly anticipating. We've been talking about how we're going to do it. So we already know we're going to work, alongside the CDC. We would make sure we have a person who can, who could be here and working with the client. It's not even a month. I don't think it would take us long at all to get things going. We already have. What we would start doing is because the thing is we lend statewide. So there are people who come to us in Cleveland and utilize our services. So it's not, we can start servicing people immediately. It's just a matter of us starting to think about our strategy physically here.
Thank you.
Mr. Lippian?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Just wondering if you guys have done any, speaking of these success stories, kind of linking into that, have you done any ROI, some return on investment studies? For example, how many jobs are created from this investment, just so we can understand what the return on the investment from the city would be. And also, what made you land, this is the second part of my two-part question, what made you land on the 250,000 number? Is that typical for what you do throughout communities? What made you land on that number?
Yeah, I would say the 250 is pretty typical when we're looking at a revolving loan fund. Absolutely. As far as, like I said, we have data coming out the air, so I don't know the exact job numbers, but we also collect job data. We collect created jobs and retained jobs. So I should be able to get something at some point to be able to give you an idea of what this could create. But we may have that in a proposal as well, though.
Mr. Lippian?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thanks. Just as a follow-up, if you have it readily available, it would be helpful, I think, for the entire committee to view, perhaps if you have a community similar to Elyria and certain demographics that you've invested $250,000 into, with the not in excess of 30% going to administrative fees, as Councilman Tollett mentioned, what the ROI is, how many jobs were created, just so that we can get a picture of what kind of bang we'd be getting for our buck. And I wanted to also say thanks for your time. This is a very informative presentation, and you guys are obviously, giving some very competent answers to these questions. We're obviously very curious.
And I think I was just told you all received our impact report as well. Okay, some of you got it. Okay, so there was our impact reports where if you want to, you have it. Okay, so that a lot of that is statewide. But if you want to find out some statistics that are similar to this actual area, that's definitely something we can find out.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, if this is something that council decides to go forward with, I would hope that you would have a physical presence downtown Elyria. I think that would be very important. And I also want to say, if you've got entrepreneurs who are looking for space, get with me, because I have space in the 6th Ward to show you. Y'all knew I was going to say that. So I'm excited about it. I think this is awesome.
That sounds great. Yeah, we like to work very, very, very closely, and this is a lot. But we also have we even have a retail incubator in Cleveland that we created for entrepreneurs. So I could talk to you about this all day. Okay. So you don't want to get me going, but yeah, we're very excited, and there's a lot that we can do. We try to come in and see what the needs are of the community, and then we, try to create programming and services that are specific to that need. So yeah, we can have a really good conversation about that. I would love that.
Okay, are there any further questions, comments? Okay, Mr. Stewart, I will ask you at this time, what are your thoughts in regards to?
I think, seeing that we just received this information piece tonight, I would ask that maybe if there was additional copies that you have, because not everybody here on this panel received everything, and then we have, I don't know if every council member is here. I think at your first blush presentation, I think everyone's excited about the opportunity to work with this, but I would like to see gathering this information, reading about this information, and if there's any other questions in regards to it, I think that would be for us to kind of, take all this information in and then come back to the next meeting with hopefully moving forward with this legislation over and through. One question I did want to ask, there was a presentation or not a presentation, I shouldn't say, a collaborative effort with Oberlin College. And is that why where this is derived from overall back, and I don't know if you were part of that at that time, it was back in 21 and 22, and if you could share any information on that.
Yeah, so actually, I was a part of that. So we came to Oberlin initially to just teach about what we do, how we support small businesses and economic development in general. And that turned into a whole other type of relationship where we worked alongside their fellows to figure out what the need would look like, because I told you that was around the time that I started noticing, all this activity. And we ended up doing a study we talked to about 35 entrepreneurs, and kind of started to canvass the market to figure out if there was this gap, and we determined absolutely that there was. There also was another study that was done through Lorain Community College's Small Business Development Center. And I was looking at the financial institutions that were listed on there, and there were 2 banks. And that was it. There were no other resources for small businesses outside of that. So that further, showed us the need. But actually, it's funny because after we got together and worked with the fellows, Oberlin College actually talked me into teaching for 2 semesters, which was great. It was great. So yeah, we have a really good relationship with them, and we've actually continued to work with them since then.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so we have 2 options: reading the committee report, and voting on it, or digesting everything, thinking of more questions, and having them come back at the end of June. Your thoughts, Mr. Stewart?
I thought that's what we were going to do.
Okay, I thought so, but I want to be clear.
Yeah. I would think, we have information that was provided tonight, information that was provided in the packet. I think it sounds like a great opportunity to partner, but I think if we have one more time to revisit, ask questions, Mr. Lippian had some questions as well. I think it, seems like we're going on a path that, to engage in a partnership.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Stewart.
So I would say at the next joint meeting, Community Development Finance meeting.
We can do that on Monday, June 26th.
Okay.
Is that good? Mr. Lippian, I see your hand was up.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, President Stewart, Chairman. That is correct. That's my general feeling on it as well. And just for the sake of kind of making the best presentation possible, from just seeing a lot of these come through our committee and knowing my colleagues, I do think it would be very helpful for all of us to see a projected ROI so that we can kind of say, hey, this is the bang we're getting for our buck, so that we know what kind of harvest we're reaping from that investment. And as an Oberlin College alum, I just want to say it's nice to have somebody who's a professor at Oberlin College come in and give such a startling presentation, so thank you.
Thank you. I loved it. It was a blast. I'm thinking about what I might do for next year if I come back. Thank you all for having us.
Okay. So seeing no further questions, comments, we will table this till Monday, June 26th at 6 p.m. in council chambers and make a decision at that point, ask more questions and decide.
Thank you for coming up.
Okay, at this time, I see no further business.
Mr. Chair, if I may, and Dawn or whomever, if you can get, because we had to share these, there weren't enough for everybody, so if you can make sure that everybody gets one, that'd be great.
I will absolutely do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Oh, that's fine. That's good to know. But we need to review that. So, are there any other questions? Okay, seeing not, for community development, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mrs. Mitchell and seconded by Mr. Oswald.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
We'll take a 5-minute recess for finance. Do it.
What does administrative mean? That's a good question. Oh, yeah. No, that's a good thought. Like, just do a model community and give us here's what we did for this community. It's the most like Elyria. Here's how that went. This is what could happen for you, but this is the breakdown. That's a good call. I hope I can add up. Oh, yeah. No, I hope I can catch them before they leave, because when they come, if they give a presentation, I want us to know as much as possible. Because I want to make sure we're getting our money back. We're not getting it back in money, we're getting it back in taxes and jobs. Right, exactly. Right, exactly. Oh, yeah, no, thank you for saying that.
All right, we're going to continue on with finance. First item on the agenda is approval of the finance meeting minutes from April 24th of 2023. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sarah, second by Ms. Davis. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item number 2. We've considered the matter of a moral claim filed by Freddie Springfield, an ordinance authorizing payment of a moral claim submitted by Freddie Springfield for damages to her property at 114 Middle Avenue. Cost of the repairs we'll amend it based on the conversation that's in front of us. This is referred by Director Lundy. So, Mr. Lundy, you want to fill us in, and then we'll have, I see Miss Springfield is here as
Right,
well.
yeah. Well, this is the process we go through when someone wishes to appeal their moral claim. This was an incident that took place back on 1st of February of this year. Her office is there at 114 Middle Avenue, had water in her basement, was reporting other damages, and she wanted to come here to present her story to you, to council, to see if she can receive a higher amount for damages. I also wanted to let you know that Dave Rothgary is here, the operations manager with water distribution, who can also give the city's account of the story as well.
Okay.
Am I free to speak now?
Oh, yep. I'm just kind of looking at something, Ms. Springfield. If you
okay.
would, please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. I'm Freddie Springfield. My address is 334 Rutgers Court, Elyria, and Elyria, Ohio. As you're aware, I own the property at 114 Middle Avenue, Elyria, and on February 1st, 2023, I went down to the office that we're currently remodeling and repairing, and I was there with an employee from the city, and then upon entering the building, I heard water running in the basement, and there was a leak in my basement of that building. I filed a claim with the city of Elyria, and I received a letter from the Elyria Law Director indicating that they would approve the deductible on my insurance of $500. I had provided copies of the damage that was done to the building in the amount of exceeding $4,000. And I realized that, and I was told, according to the letter, that I could file a moral claim. I want you to know that this is the first time that I have filed a moral claim, and I'm requesting this body reconsider the amount that I would be given in order to repair the damage that was done in my building. And I brought my son, Kevin Wiggins, with me in the event you have questions.
So with that being said, you know, reading the initial report over and through, and it seems based on our ordinance, you know, for moral claims, we can claim up to, it's a judgment, we can award the $500, or what you're asked here tonight is the claim for, would appear to be the $4,705.67.
I'm sorry, did you say it's either or?
No, so the moral claim is that based on what, per our ordinance, the most that we can give through council rules is $500. Or if that's why you're coming here today to say, hey, based on this information, reconsider instead of $500. And it seems here in the initial paragraph that the damage that was done was $4,705.67. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm here requesting some additional funds
Okay.
above and beyond the 500.
All right. So with that being said, before we have any further conversation, if Mr. Rothgary would want to come up from the Leary Water Department, and then if Mr. Wiggins, if he would choose to come up and speak to in meeting. But Mr. Rothgary, if you could kind of, based on your findings or what you were seeing there, what happened with the water lines, so we have an informed decision.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just as Ms. Springfield said, that when we had extremely cold weather, the 4-inch main under the sidewalk in front of her property broke, and the water found its way in through her foundation into the basement. It's a fairly legitimate concern that she had about that because it flooded enough to put her furnace out. And so in my report was basically there was a leak and it got into her basement, and we came the following morning and repaired it. So from the water distribution standpoint, that's where we are with it. It's pretty much just that there was a leak and we repaired it, and she had noticeable damage.
Any questions for Mr. Rothgary with what his report is indicating? Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Rothgary. So when I was looking at those pictures, it was showing cracks in the basement wall. That's where the water was coming through, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so my thought is that what the city had done with, is this something that produced those cracks, or were the cracks already there? Is that our responsibility to take care of those cracks? I guess I can see that maybe there was some cleanup or something like that, but on that form of damage, I don't know. I have cracks in some of my basements, you know, and water and heavy rains comes in, so I guess that's the question. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I can't really say as to whether the cracks were there or they caused the cracks. It's not really a normal thing for a small main like that to, you know, crack a basement wall, but I can't say one way or the other whether it happened that way.
Law Director Deary.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Oswald, the $4,700 and change is due to repair or replacement damage that was done to the heating unit, and also the cleanup. So there were no repairs to walls that were made. But the city departments that responded did do a report, and the flooding was due to the fact that the city's main was quite old and essentially broke, which I know is not a technical term, but it does adequately describe what happened.
Mr. Tolet.
Through you, Mr. Chair. This is to the law director and to Mrs. Springfield. You're asking, so you're going to file a claim with your insurance that will pay everything but $500. We pay the $500, and you're asking for additional on top of that?
I filed and notified my insurance company, but they have not agreed fully to reimburse me for the full amount. And you've talked to the insurance company as well, Kevin.
If you could, please state your name and address for the record.
Kevin Wiggins, 334 Rutgers Court, Elyria, Ohio. Yes, what the insurance company said to us was, find out just what the city will do, and we'll make up that difference. So it's not like the insurance companies has reimbursed us or given us any money for repairs, through you, Mr. Chairman, and then we're asking for more money. That's not what's happened. The insurance company has not said where they will come in at on helping to straighten things out.
So the insurance, through you, Mr. Chair, so the insurance company is waiting on us.
Right. They want to know just what monies we may be able to, I'm gonna use the word recover, and then they'll do what they have to do, which is, I'm expecting to make sure everything is right, in terms of repairs and things like that. And you notice in our request, I got a to be determined under the wall, under the repairs of the wall. My concern is that not everyone can really know what they're doing about repairing that front wall, because the sidewalk is supported by that wall. Our building happens to be one of some of the buildings that when they did the sidewalk improvement, they did not fill in that area underneath. So our basement, we can actually walk underneath the sidewalk. So we got I-beams and things like that that are also attached, that's holding all that up. So I'm having to go through talking to kind of various people to try to see if they even understand what it would take.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Well, fortunately, the situation is that the Ohio Revised Code says that the city can't pay for damages that could possibly be paid by an insurance company, and what it sounds like is your insurance company is saying, go see if the city's going to cover it before we make a decision on what we're going to cover. So unfortunately, that puts you all in in the middle.
Yes.
But I don't think, unfortunately, I'm not going to be in the position to be able to advise the committee to make a determination today on what they're able to, I mean, I think that the committee could potentially say that, make a decision on whether they're going to cover the damages, but as far as what the amount is, I don't think that we have that information yet. And moreover, if I understand correctly, there could be additional damages in terms of the council is not going to be able, going to be able to make a final decision until that full amount is before them.
Okay.
So, because what's going to happen is that there'll be a settlement of claims. So, I think that this would be a matter of my suggestion would be, not that I want to drag this out and have the two of you, again, be held and have this held up and have you waiting for your money any longer, but to continue this, to get those additional details, so that the committee and so council can have that information in front of them, and so that you have all the information that you need as far as what this claim completely entails.
Okay.
So I think what we'll do is we'll put it in pending items, and then as soon as you receive the additional information as far as inspection reports, we'll forward it back into the, I guess, would that be to the Safety Service or Law Director's office?
Do you want to go?
I would forward it to the Law Director's office, based on those findings, and then,
Okay.
we can get it back on on the pending items to have this resolved for you.
Okay.
That'll
We
work.
appreciate you coming up, and sorry for the inconvenience.
No,
It's
it's okay.
okay.
But
Thank you.
we'll work through it.
Mr.
All right.
Chair,
Ms. Mitchell, excuse me.
thank you, through you. I'm not on this committee, so thank you for giving me an opportunity. But I would just ask this committee to remember, if the city's water main had not broke, we would not be having this conversation. Thank you.
Right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Finance Director Pulaski?
I do think that we need to hear from their insurance company
Okay.
before the city can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll work through it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
All
we
right, good one.
appreciate that. Ms. Davis?
Through you, Chair, and also have the complete report, because we're talking about a wall here, that we have no information about what it's gonna cost, and we are involved in that because our line broke. So I think we need a complete of everything before we say anything
Sure.
about what we have done to their property.
Very good, agreed.
Thank you.
Okay, very good, thanks for coming up.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go, Colleen. Item number 3. We've considered the matter of placing a lien on the property for boarding up and securing 225 Harwood Street in the amount of $382.28. A resolution authorizing the said charge to be certified as a lien to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office per the attached list. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Sarah, second by Ms. Davis. Mr. Farkas?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I have quite a few of these before the panel today, as these funds are withdrawn from the building department budget under the demolition. And most of these were implemented by either the fire department or the police department, and one by the building department. This particular one was a call out by the Elyria Police.
Okay. Any questions? Call for the question.
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. How about we go and we'll do each one, how about you discuss all of them and then we'll go ahead and take it. Is that allowable, I guess, as far as that goes? We'll discuss them all together and then we'll just read the committee report. So we'll go ahead and go to the next one. We've considered a matter of placing a lien on the property, boarding up and securing 888 Lorraine Boulevard in the amount of $4,736.65. A resolution authorizing the said charge to be set as a lien to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office per the attached. Now, this one might be unique to itself, because I think that's what we know we talked about, but go ahead, Mr. Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. This one is the Journey In. The first visit was implemented and enforced by the Elyria Fire Department. And unfortunately, due to a break-in, they had to dispatch the contractor back out to re-secure the structure, so the total was $4736.65.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for that? Go ahead, Mr. Farkas, go to the next one.
The next one was 1825 Lorraine Boulevard. That's the Days Inn. This is a very large site. This one was implemented by the building department. We went out and first visit was enforced by police department a couple weeks prior to our visit. That was one window. Subsequently, we went back out and resecured everything because the vagrants were picking every window we bored. They go to the next one and put a hole in. We ultimately decided to secure the structure from top to bottom to prevent entry.
Can you give us a status on that? Is that still?
That status is I have condemned the building. It is unfit for human occupancy. We have basically removed the vagrants, secured the structure. The ownership is aware, has expressed interest in actually salvaging the structure, and he is currently in the process of getting bids to assess the damage caused by the vagrants because they scrapped the copper and pulled out all wiring where needed. So that is in process right now.
Okay. Ms. Davis?
Excuse me, could we get a total that this cost the building department?
The total was $16,050.72.
It'll be on the, will be, I'm just having them go through everything, but we'll have that specified out in the committee report. Okay, and then what's the next one, Mr. Farkas?
The next one was 2040 Midway Boulevard. This was instituted by the Elyria Fire Department. They had a call out for a broken window, and that one was $182.19. Home, we had a pass lien for a board up and an actual fire demo. Somebody has gone back out and taken off the boards and have gone back in. Police had vacated it. They then, police were on scene, once secured, called out the board up crew to re-secure the structure for $1,630.54.
Okay. That's just a synopsis of each one, I think, and so if there's, once we read the committee report, if there's something more you want to ask Mr. Farkas regarding that, you can, but we thought it'd be an easier way for us to kind of try to bundle them all together. So, I think the last one we had on there was item number 4, with a reference to, I'll just read it again, we'll redo it. Placing a lien on the property for boarding up and securing 888 Lorraine Boulevard in the amount of $4,736.65, a resolution authorizing the said amount to be certified as a lien to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office per the attached. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Sayers. Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you want to pass them down, do you think, at this time? Next on the agenda is the matter of placing a lien on the property for boarding up and securing 1825 Lorraine Boulevard in the amount of $16,050.72. A resolution authorizing said charge to be certified to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office per the attached. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Davis.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. This is item number 6. We've considered a matter of placing a lien on the property for the boarding up and securing of 2040 Midway Boulevard in the amount of $182.19. A resolution authorizing the said charge to be certified as a lien to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office per the attached. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sierra.
Second.
Second by Mr. Tolet. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. And the last one here is placing a lien on the property for the boarding up of and securing of 144 Irondale Street in the amount of $1,630.54. A resolution authorizing the said charge to be certified to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office per the attached. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms.
Second.
Davis, second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Mr. Farkas, if you could, in regards to, they're all important. In regards to the 2 ticketed items, the one at 1825, just keep us a follow-up on how things are going, and I don't know if the police are making their rounds over there just to make sure that no one's going through continuously or down the road.
Mr. Chair, yes, through you. Actually, it is a multi-department, checkup. Fire's going out there, our department's going out there. Personally, I am, as is police, so we're keeping eyes on it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 8 has been removed from the agenda. Item number 9, we've considered the matter of the 2023-2024 Victims of Crime Act grant and State Victims Assistance Act grant. In order to authorize the law directors to submit applications and accept, if offered, the said grants. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sarah, second by Mr. Schneider. Law Director Deary.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. These grants have actually taken on somewhat of a housekeeping, role, if you will. They are grants that are applied for every year, going back to Law Director Schilling's terms in office. They go towards the advocates, the victim witness advocate salary, and also supplies, training, and equipment. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. So it's standard procedure that we've done, like Law Director Deary has said, and it's good for a good cause that we're doing, and it's all about the advocacy.
I would note there is a match of 20% for the VOCA grant. There is not for the SBAA grant. Those matches are built into my budget each year.
Is there any further discussion?
Question?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. I don't think, are there any permanent appropriation amendments?
Through you, Mr. Chair, none.
Okay. Hearing nothing more before this committee, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sayre, second by Ms. Davis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, everybody.